You can't fail now, but who will? Welcome to the Casters for Super Week. My name is Quickshot. I'm joined by the gorgeous Dagda. And also, if you are a Valorant viewer, you may have seen me appear on the broadcast. I would love for you to screen cap my gorgeous hair and just send it to Tom, Biz, and Ryan. They are very jealous of this dude. Welcome to LEC. Welcome back to the LEC.
I'm just surprised they put the LBL guy with the Valorant caster. I thought, you know, they'd bring in someone that was a little bit more familiar with the LEC for me. Yeah.
Wow, the burns out the gate already. Dagda, let's talk a little bit about the matchup here. We heard the analyst days talking about it. I did a little segment. If Misfits win this game, in 99.7% of remaining scenarios, they lock playoffs. So, 99.7% for an organization that we know will not be here next year. A shot at Worlds, a shot back. The last time they were there, 2017, dramatic. An argument could be made they're one of the first teams to show the West that you could challenge the greats of T1.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm excited to see if they can make their way to Worlds. At least a little bit more excited than Neon seemed to be on the podcast, so we'll see how that one pans out. But already we can get BDS putting a lot of attention towards Zanzarah. So both champions that Zanzarah's already played, the Trundle and that Poppy taken off the board. And I have to preface this, your drafts confuse me because I'm from the LPL, which is very different.
Did you hear the cheer once Yuumi was banned? Berlin, I appreciate you. Tell me why it confuses me. I mean, Gwen's the final ban here. What would you anticipate? What's different between Europe and China?
It does make sense when Poppy banned the Wukong goes as well, but like Kalista being left open, Zeri being left open, these are such incredibly strong picks. Ornn being first pick with these left open as well is very different to what we've seen. Sejuani, though, a good response, can do well against the Ornn in the laning phase and is hoping to try and take the battle there. But Sivir going to be taken here now. I actually wouldn't be surprised if xMatty does want to go towards something a little bit of an early focus, like taking a Kalista here, trying to see if he can go that hyper aggressive. You can always go with something like an Alistar to pair with this as well that goes well into the Sivir and go really down towards that bottom side of the map.
I mean, when I take a look at xMatty's champions, he has not played Kalista all year long, but he does have a number of champions under his belt. Instead, he's going to go for that Twitch instead. It is something that we've seen sort of raising in priority here once we stop moving away from 12-12, the 12-13, 12-14. What answer will Cinkrof run in the jungle? It looks like it's going to be that Zhao.
Yeah, so Zhao going to come through here. I'm like, again, super late seems to be the story here for LEC across the board. So Twitch going to be paired with that. I'm curious now what Zanzarah wants to try and go towards. Like, I'd be looking at things like the Lee Sin. I actually think does really well, but always struggles against something like a Talia as well. So maybe you don't want to go towards that. So we'll have to see exactly what the plan is here. But Sylas is going to be taken for Vetheo just straight off rip.
I mean, when I take a look down, Lee Sin on the side of Zanzarah, 0 professional games ever, by the way. This is a player that has, let's say, a limited champion pool. I actually see a fan here in the audience that has a big sign that says Zanzarah pick Skarner with Trundle banned, Poppy banned, Wukong banned. I don't know if he's going to go that direction.
Yeah, especially when you're looking at the composition the BDS have. They're all in on late game team fights, so trying to look for picks with the Skarner may not work, but I do like the Sylas would be able to steal away a lot of those big ultimates like that from the Ornn. Even having the Zhao there, you can steal away.
Listen to this crowd! Skarner is the cheer. I have to say, over this summer, the Berlin crowd has found a voice and a volume that was severely lacking. There is an evil traitor in the front of this crowd wearing a Team Liquid jersey. I will let that slide, as Misfits will ban away the Akali and the Lulu. I don't know if NUCLEARINT wants to go Ahri, if it would even be a good option, but we saw the analyst desk highlighting his stats. Phenomenal performance so far. 14-1-8 in that win over XL. Jarvan will be the final ban. So mid and jungle is the questions for me now.
So the biggest... Oh, here we go!
Oh! Get over here! Zanzarah locks in Skarner, his second most played champion. And Dagda, can I hit you with a quick stat?
Go for it. I want to hear it.
78% win ratio.
Oh my god.
In 31 professional games. Let that sink in. 78% win ratio. I mean, that is phenomenal. Do you like it in the comp, though?
I think, well, for the mid-jungle 2v2, I am terrified as NUCLEARINT. I'm like, what the hell do I play here? Like, if I try and take anything that can match this Sylas, it just feels like I'm going to be locked down by the Sylas, by the Skarner, especially post 6. So I'm a bit terrified. This actually could be something, but I think having mobility here is definitely going to be what you want to try and go for. Ahri doesn't do great against this Sylas in lane, but just keeping yourself safe here as NUCLEARINT, I actually like the pick.
And of course, the final lock-in there is going to be the Braum from Mersa. As we zoom out and talk about the two compositions, I like you talked about mobility, right? You've got that Tahm Kench, Devour can be very impactful. The Spirit Rush can be useful to either reposition, get away from some threats, but how do these teams want to win the game?
Yeah, I mean, BDS is just, here, look, we're going for late game, right? Ornn, you got the Twitch there. It's like, look, let's just use the Zanzarah and the Ahri, maybe try and get some roams off to allow us to bridge into that later portion of the game. When I look at Misfits, though, they're looking to power through this crazy strong top side of the map. Like, you've got Sejuani with 2 other melee characters as well beside her. You've got this mid jungle that's absolutely insane with both those ultimates, and as well, you've got multiple ways of trying to neutralize the fact you've got this Ornn ult coming through. You've got the Braum there that can try and interrupt it. You've also got your own Ornn ultimate that you can steal away. So I'm definitely looking at these mid-game fights for Misfits and see if they can explode this game over.
And for Misfits, there's a lot of short range as well. So if they are unable to deal with that Ahri and Twitch, could be problematic. Getting in close, trying to lock them down. What can xMatty do? We'll be able to find those roams with the ambush. We'll remind everybody, BDS have been eliminated from playoffs. And if you follow them on Twitter, they had some pretty scary looking photos saying they are here this weekend to play spoiler, to be thorns in the side of anyone looking to lock in that spot to playoffs. It's Hit the Rip for Misfits BDS. Can't believe you called me a Valorant caster. 2 days on the show, 10 years in this game.
You turned your back on us.
10 years in this game, and you throw me under the bus after 2 days. Take a look at the mini-map. Misfits already grouped up a little bit here, anticipating one of those trends that we have seen when teams move to place that ward on the red buff, blocking it, but BDS not going for that move right now.
Yeah, I think for BDS, it's just a case of, hey, look, as long as we can try and play this safe in the early stages, we're going to be fine. Like, NUCLEARINT should have push in that matchup. You should be okay here as well to try and, like, use Cinkrof and NUCLEARINT kind of in these early stages to establish vision control and river, see if you can kind of lean down towards this bottom side of the map and try and punish Neon and Mersa for seeing if they can try and push in that lane.
Now, I want to talk just a little bit about this middle lane because during the draft, we weren't unsure exactly which direction NUCLEARINT was going to go. I mentioned his Ahri performance. But also, Dagda, you said to me, good luck being NUCLEARINT into Skarner and Sylas. So what do you want to see from NUCLEARINT to make this pick work, and maybe how can Cinkrof support him?
Well, I actually love the idea of going for the Ahri here, because usually when you see Sylas, you're like, I don't want to take Ahri. We actually saw Sylas like creep into the meta because he was a good answer to the Ahri. She can't have push out of lane, she doesn't have the damage, you get the Spirit Rush as well, you got a lot of follow-up as both mid laners are trying to play peekaboo
So would
right
you
now.
see this in LPL, both mid laners hiding behind their minion waves?
It's too big brain, you know, just waiting for it to kick off. But you can see, like, it's actually really difficult for Ahri to shove Sylas out of lane. But the whole point of this Ahri pick is, hey, I'm going to hit 6. You guys try and come at me. I'm just going to Spirit Rush away. I'm going to make sure that I can keep myself safe. And especially if Cinkrof can kind of match that, there is a chance Vetheo and Zanzarah overextend trying to make that combo work.
Keep an eye on those junglers, starting opposite sides. Cinkrof already cleared off that red, making his way up top. As I keep an eye, looks as though Irrelevant has got the early push, he's got the teleport and the ignite, so keep that in mind. Down in that bottom lane, both sitting even for the time being. Observer's following fantastically there, and wanting to see where this push will happen. You would assume the Sivir lane will be able to get a little bit of an early advantage, especially with that Braum blade on Ricochet.
I think it's actually really interesting to see Sejuani because we actually see her a lot over in the LPL. You actually have a lot of kill pressure, even against the Ornn. The ignite, the ability to just dive in aggressively with the Q means that you have the opportunity to just take out Agresivoo if you overextend, which is why Cinkrof is up here already, trying to see if he can change that factor. I
mean, the passive as well, the amount of CC in her kit is just so good. And when you pair it with, either damage from a roaming Sylas or even a Skarner, with this Crystal Slash, do you reckon he does? No, holding the thought, holding the thought. Now, what would you expect this? It feels to me like it's a little bit more defensive and to something potentially if Zanzarah were to come up, because it was more of a shadow play than necessarily pushing for a gank or something.
Well, I think for Cinkrof, like definitely trying to hold this wave for Agresivoo is going to be in a good spot. But I mean, you should maybe be able to get the fourth wave crash here for Irrelevant and still be able to reset, get a good back, pick up some early items. And trying to get that against the Ornn is going to be really valuable because Ornn is able to build those items in lane. But I think for the moment, playing down towards this bottom side is going to be way more entertaining because you want Neon to be able to continue to push in that wave. Like his goal here is, hey, I want to chip away at this turret, I want to get a ton of plates, I want to hit my items faster than xMatty and take over this game early as possible.
And of course, Neon last week, phenomenal performance. Take a look at that, 18, 2, and 15. Zanzarah's making his way forward, 922 damage per minute. Will it go up? Where is the Winter's Bite? Mersa's holding on to it. The stun connects onto the Frog. He's going to start to back away. Or the Fish, rather. I always get in trouble for that one. Neon starts backing away. Too much time in Valorant, and they won't blow any summoner spells, won't secure anything, and that's the first gank there for Zanzarah. At least just applying pressure and letting them know he's looking down bottom.
Cinkrof really wants to get in towards this top side, though. Irrelevant feels like he's kind of sniffed his head. The wave is pushing into him as well.
Okay, remember, no flash available, no mana either. Stepping forward into the minion wave, takes an auto to the face. There's the audacious charge followed. This should be a relatively easy first blood secured after the three-pronged strike and secured by Cinkrof. Easy peasy in the top lane.
Nice job for Cinkrof to get in behind Irrelevant there. And as you say, you don't run flash, so heavily reliant on the Q to escape. And Cinkrof gets an early kill, which was set up nicely in this matchup as well against Zanzarah if the two end up meeting up. But Cinkrof does need to get a reset before that can happen. Still hasn't actually got his first purchase.
No, he really hasn't. And Agresivoo is also up on CS. There's a gigantic wave in front of Irrelevant, so that will start to close out. But I mean, even in the mid lane, even in the bottom lane, I think you kind of anticipate that in the Sylas Ahri matchup. We're waiting to see how Zanzarah and Cinkrof can potentially play around it. But I mean, 5 minutes in, Cinkrof spent a lot of time top, but he got the kill. So, you know, advantage to BDS. They're up 800 gold, and that's a good start for the team. And they're staring down and looking to play spoiler to Misfits.
Yeah, I'm curious to see exactly how BDS want to try and use this, because I actually think BDS have been really good in the early stages. Like, they are getting these leads. It's when they get to the mid game, it starts to fall apart in team fights and that. So if they can try and keep this momentum going, change that in towards a bot side, like try and keep Neon and Mersa honest, I think they'll be in a better situation.
All right, Limit is lingering, and so is Mersa. Level 3, level 4, that's a ding there. So Limit won't be able to hit level 4 and starts to make his way down bottom, so roams from the supports. When we were preparing for this matchup, Dagda was, frankly, making fun of Europe's early games. It's like, why are there no kills? Why are there no action? What is the pace of LPL early game? Like, when you get to the 14, 15-minute mark, like, how many kills do you normally have?
For our top teams, you look at least 4 or 5, depending on them. Minimum, yeah. Oh, well, that's on average. So, yeah. So that's where it's like, we tend to fight a lot, especially as you look at, like, Dragons on patch 12-14, like, 6% extra damage off an Infernal. Teams are like, well, that's well worth fighting over. So
that is a lot.
I'm looking at Zanzarah here. He's trying to be like, hey, I mean, if Neon has push and Vtheo's got this push here, why not look for something around this early Dragon? But xMatty and Limit currently have control of the lane, so not quite able to get that one started.
Yeah, not this time round. We saw Vetheo catching a charm to the face. Any viewers that were watching last week, Dagda, make sure I use the word charm. Okay, I used the word taunt last week a couple times. It was stuck in my head. Got in trouble. I've learned my lesson for that one. It will force Vetheo back. He's hit level 6. He's got himself that 7 CS advantage. It looks like NUCLEARINT's going to back away. Teleport is available to him as well, as is that ultimate. And this is a pretty sort of tame laning phase. Do you think that this sort of plays into BDS's favor? You mentioned a little bit of scaling of things they really just want to get to late game, unlock that Twitch.
I mean, BDS just chill, right? You're not really under any pressure. It's more as well Misfits waiting for level 6. So you've got on Vetheo already. You're looking for Zanzarah as well. And suddenly this lane becomes so much more difficult for NUCLEARINT, especially if Vetheo is able to get that Spirit Rush out early. Like, say, he ends up going for the Absconded Duct. Then you got to use that early. Okay, Zanzarah now has a free flash into that mid lane to try and set things up. But I expect BDS, like, at least if I'm looking from an LPL perspective, like, NUCLEARINT to have control over this mid lane, shove in, and start leaning in towards these side lanes, trying to help them out, because Vetheo just, at least at the moment, doesn't quite have that push.
And I really like seeing BDS going to challenge those Crystal Spires. Obviously, it is the mechanic gets added to the Rift when Skarner's in the game. Additional attack speed, additional mana regen. It's one of those small things you don't spend a huge amount of time focusing on and talking about, but it can be influential, like you mentioned, the Dragon fights, for example. Let's take a look. Zanzarah making his way up top. The Impale, the Flash, it is available. Irrelevant, got that Glacial Prison. Flash away, the Fail will connect, and so does Get Over here. Next kill secured. Misfits on the board. They even up the gold, and Vetheo was roaming as well.
Yeah, great job by Zanzarah to get this right as the Rift Herald spawns as well. So that's why Vetheo trying to play protection on this top side. Now you've already got the bot lane from xMatty, and, or at least Limus anyway, has wandered up. xMatty's sticking in that bot side.
BDS may want to challenge this. It doesn't look like Misfits have made a beeline for the objective, and in fact, 3 members of BDS are there first. Zanzarah's starting to back away. Does Vetheo try challenge? I mean, Mersa's late to this play. It looks like it's going down.
Yeah, Neon is also on the way, but it's going to take a while for them to get here. So looks like BDS might be able to just sneak this one away. I mean, Neon and Mersa not resetting quick enough, and xMatty able to keep that wave in check in the bot side as well. So first Misfits, I think at this stage, you just lean into that dragon on the bot side, try and trade sides of the map, because you know BDS are going to be on reset.
I mean, the second half of the round robin, Misfits have a significantly improved early game, especially from the first half. I mean, Cadril was saying it on Euphoria. They've won 9 out of their last 11 games. They actually pick up first Herald in 2/3 of their matches. The interesting thing when I look at their stats early game, though, is that they actually only pick up first Dragon in 15% of their second round robin games. Now, obviously, Dragons have been changed in the most recent patches, so I want to see whether or not they're going to make a move for it right now, pushing some vision into BDS's jungle. The Observer's highlighting that fantastically, and maybe xMatty's the target.
Yeah, great word from Limit, though. They know this is coming, and Ahri and Cinkrof are on the way. Can they survive for long enough, though?
We're going to find out. On the hunt, thrown down, Spell Shield pop, 4 versus 2. That's the gobble, gobble, gobble as xMatty spat out. 2 more members of BDS coming in for reinforcements. No teleports available for top laners, and nobody goes down just yet. xMatty re-engaging with the rat-a-tat-tat, and there's not enough damage to make Misfits go splats.
Limit was a hero in that play. He uses the Abyssal Dive onto the minions, which lets him hit 6, so he gets the Devourer for xMatty and keeps him safe under the tower. So great heads-up play from Limit, and xMatty may need a bit more help.
Ooh, I held my breath for a brief moment. Zanzarah may run into Limit here. Crystal Slash comes out. Impale's on cooldown. It was used in the bottom. Cinkrof knocks him back with the ulti. xMatty flashes the wall. Mersa follows. So does Neon. Knocked up into the air by the Fisher. And Neon gets another. That's advantage Misfits.
Yeah, it looks like we won't be seeing any 80 Spies movies for xMatty anytime soon, because he ends up running straight into the detectors. Neon and Mersa pick up that first kill. Zanzarah now going to be able to get that dragon, and I love this for Misfits, especially as a team who likes to rely on these like late game fights, like baiting objectives, so that then you can find these great 5v5s. This will work out so beautifully.
I mean, really, really good turnaround off this, conceding that first blood. First dragon secured, and it is the Infernal that you talked about, the additional damage. They also have got themselves a kill advantage. Now xMatty steps forward. Spirit Rush used by Vetheo to escape, and the wave is cleared out too. He is down a small amount of CS, but a pretty quick drop of that Rift Herald in the bottom lane. No one to real challenge. And the boop gets Berlin going ballistic. Another bunch of gold into NUCLEARINT's back pocket. So here's Ahri starting to pull ahead.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Like, when I look at this team on BDS, it's like, who's the actual carry? It's going to be xMatty, right? You've got a bridge to the late game with Cinkrof and NUCLEARINT that they can play through, but xMatty's the one I'd like to see this goal going over to, especially since he's already lost that early kill. So maybe we get these next couple of Rift Heralds going in towards him, or maybe we start to see some more of these waves being crashed into him like we're seeing in mid lane, but xMatty needs to get the ball rolling for himself.
Are you getting hair going in your mouth, by the way? There's so much of this wig that it's just gone. I'm going to be eating hair by the end of the show.
Every time I've been holding the cough button, just
how the hell did people have this hair in the 80s? I don't think there's people here in the show, in the audience, that are from the 80s. We've got a lot of young kids, but this is shockingly distracting. But
it's so warm as well.
It's so warm. Misfits right now, 12 minutes in, they're starting to push into the jungle. Wow, really? Yeah. You're actually going to show the wig. Production showing this one off. That's, thank you. I don't think we needed that one. But Zanzarah stepping forward to challenge. We'll be able to pop this crystal. Spire looks to steal away this red buff. And again, Misfits, I think they're coordinating pretty well. I mean, on that tower dive, even though they didn't secure the kill, they grouped up, they got the vision. In the follow-up play, they got the dragon as well. And this is the area of the game where BDS have started to falter. They've had pretty good laning phases really all summer long. And we might have round 2 tower dive.
Yeah, at least Cinkrof is here to try and dissuade it, so Misfits will just back away, but I love the vision control that has been set up. And it's something that we've seen a lot from Zanzarah, trying to play into this like bot lane to get Neon and Vetheo to be those big carries. And honestly, they have been the MVPs of this team. Like, Vetheo and Neon have been so incredibly good all split long, and it's great to see them thriving on this squad.
It's really good, especially because in spring, Misfits were a bit of a one-trick pony. It was Vetheo 1v9 or nothing happens. 13 minutes in, the observer's highlighting Neon, Kraken Slayer already secured into the Berserker's Greaves and the recurve bow for xMatty. So he'll want to avoid Neon for a little bit until he can pick up his own mythic. And I think as we see now the grouping towards this top lane, Agresivoo, level 10, flash available. He's respecting it, starting to back away, not overextending in that lane, so not the easiest of targets. I think he sniffed something out there.
Yeah, they have caught BDS with their pants down though, because you still have Twitch in the bot side. Neon has already roamed up here, so they're just looking to accelerate Neon even further, get more turret plates onto him. And Sejuani's actually fine to just clear out waves in the bot side by herself. Like, she's got the flail, she's going to be all good. So Neon and Mersa might actually be able to get a bit more gold, just 20 seconds until turret plates fall though.
I mean, Mersa's being such a scumbag. He's interrupted Agresivoo twice on the recall, steps forward to that Winter's Bite. Agresivoo is just like, bro, just let me buy. Just let me back.
We have a couple we've hung in the LPL who would just walk up and ignite you just to stop the reset. Yeah, they will not let it go.
I'm calling this scumbag Misfits duo really being obnoxious. Finally, Agresivoo will be able to finish the recall. The rest of BDS making their way up top. Teleport's available. Do they fancy a fight? Do they fancy a fight?
You say it's scumbag, I call it Mega Mind Mersa. But yeah, Misfits at the moment, keeping themselves checked. They know limits here. They're aware Cinkrof is as well, but Limit will just get the Abyssal dive off. So, the reason that they were trying to stop this back so heavily is Irrelevant actually got Tahm in that bot lane turret, so getting a bit more damage there. You got to clear the waves nice and easily without actually having xMatty to lane against. The big one, though, is the Rift Herald just about to spawn. So that's where we're seeing so many Misfits members in the area. And you've got Vetheo moving mid to clear out this wave, whereas look where NUCLEARINT, right? Yeah. He's not going to be here, so at least first move advantage should be there for Misfits.
I mean, this gold lead, by the way, 1,200 up. Zanzarah stepping forward. He's got the Chem Tank. He's got that flash. He's got the Scorpion move, sorry, the Impale available if he wants to pull someone back. And not going to this time around, though. On time for the Herald, ready to challenge. It doesn't look like BDS are close enough just yet, but they may start this fight here, Dagda.
Well, it looks like they're going to go down to Neon here.
Oh, that's the Abyssal Voyage coming out. Limit is now stunned in place. Glacial Fissure comes down, waiting for Irrelevant to throw the prison out. Vetheo has stolen this Pro Rush. Limit's going to be the target. He survived just long enough for now. Vetheo finally takes him out. The Rift Herald still alive and still helping out BDS. 2 kills to Misfits. They get the Herald as well as another 3 and the Heralds.
And 15 seconds until the Dragon spawns, so they can just go for a quick reset, say, hey, you know what, that looks real juicy. We can keep this Dragon stacking going.
And you said it 5 minutes ago, Dagda, that Misfits as a team, they like to bait, they like to fight around objectives. That is exactly what happened. They were in the pit first, they were able to respond to BDS's aggression, and they absolutely ran away with this fight.
Yeah, and I mean, even look at the way they're set up, right? You've got Neon placed in the backside, you've got Vetheo in the mid lane, so he can always roam in to cut off Ahri's approach, and you've got Zanzarah, who's perfectly blocking there on the backside. Now, does end up dying, Neon, as the damage from xMatty comes through, but I mean, Misfits just able to control that team fight from start to finish. xMatty has to overextend to get the kill. And even with Neon going down, they still have the damage from Vetheo to finish that one off.
They managed to secure that Dragon. Well, they started the Dragon and haven't actually continued it. Instead, BDS are around in time. Take a look at ultimates. 1, 2, 3 are unavailable for BDS. Zanzarah forced to flash for his life. The Dragon now starting to tag up members of BDS. Irrelevant, 1 second for the prison. Does he fire the trigger? It's available to him. Zanzarah's got the Impale available too. Oh, Vetheo has managed to hijack the Ornn Horn. That is potentially sending BDS away. The Ornn Horn knocks Cinkrof into the air. The dash forward from Vetheo looking for the chains. The prison won't find a direct hit. And instead, BDS escaped for now. Neon chucks out a couple autos. They get the Dragon, but I think I want to give kudos here. BDS backed away when they saw that hijack. They saw the engaged tools, but ultimately they're falling further and further behind. 1,500 gold and 2 towers. We're playing on a mountain ridge.
And that's why Sylas is so strong in these early skirmishes. He just gets ultimates so damn quickly. Like, you can see the hijack is already back up, so he stole NUCLEARINT at the Rift Herald fight. He steals Agresivoo's ultimate coming into this Dragon fight, and it means you're always guaranteed to have some sort of engage. Even Zanzarah as well with the Impale. That comes up so quickly. So I love that Misfits are playing into this mid-game that we highlighted for.
Can I put some numbers for you, right?
Hit me.
Glacial Prison is currently on a 67-second cooldown. Impale is currently on an 85-second cooldown. So when you think about that, every minute and a half, you can have those crazy good team fight engage tools or single target engage tools. And Zanzarah is about to ding 11, so that'll go down even further. It's very, very powerful. Right now, Misfits feeling comfortable, feeling pretty confident in the state of the game. And Zanzarah's going to flash forward to look for a target. Not the longest range flash, if I've ever seen one. And xMatty just ambushes to save.
He's just excited Hex Flash is back, right? That's all he wanted. He's just excited that he gets to use it again. It's going well for him so far. Rift out in the mid lane as well. He should be able to crack this one open. Let me hear you, Berlin.
That's what I like to hear. I think we're going to get one more charge. Is there going to be a team fight? Thank you, Berlin. 2 charges, 1.5 towers taken down. 2,500 gold in the lead. We just saw a moment ago the next match, SK versus Vitality. Right now, if you look at the standings there, Misfits 9-6. They win this game, then 99.7% of remaining scenarios have them advancing, or at least having that tiebreaker game. And of course, for SK Vitality, huge, huge, huge stakes on the line.
Also keeps us on track for that mega weekend where you get all the tiebreakers all the time. But Zanzarah going to have some company here in his jungle. Cinkrof and Limit will spot him out. I don't know if you want to be here, Cinkrof.
No, definitely not. I mean, look, Veteo's going to take the tower down bottom. He's got teleport available to him. 3 towers to 1. That gold lead is ballooning in about 5 minutes of gameplay. It went from maybe 100, 200 gold lead to nearly 3,000 right now. The Dragon's secured as well. 2.5 minutes until the next Dragon. And that Mountain Drake's actually going to be quite valuable for both Sejuani, Skarner, Braum. You know, a lot of additional stats to give there.
I mean, in my opinion, Mountain Dragon's the most busted on this patch. 9% extra armor and magic resist is insane. Especially when you're looking at, as you say, like the amount of beefcakes that are just in this game. Like, they're going to be so happy with that. So I definitely think for Misfits, this is such a good Dragon to get the soul for.
Now the question is, how the hell does NUCLEARINT find a target? Because really,
great question.
If that soul is secured, we're a couple dragons away from it, right? Even Vetheo is going to be quite difficult to pop. He's got the Hourglass already. And then Neon's got the Spell Shield. So as long as you can avoid the Charm, this Ahri is going to be exceptionally difficult to play.
I think the best way for BDS to try and play this is like contesting this vision that tries to be set up by Misfits. Try and look for a pick. But you can see the way Misfits are set up, right? All 5 members are here, and they're happy to just go for a fight.
Yeah, they are. They're Hex Flash over the wall. Zanzarah is celebrating. Captures a Crystal Spy inside the jungle. Limit will get tagged up. No more flash available to him. Impaled, locked down. It's just literally run down.
Yeah, I mean, they try and find the pick as BDS, but immediately Misfits are there. And Misfits have not been shy about starting Baron, and it's 20 minutes on the clock, Trevor.
How bold is this? How bold is this? Level 11 for xMatty, Blade of the Ruined King, as well as the Spray and Pray. Now BDS starting to step forward. Baron already down to 8,000. The Ornn is available. Agresivoo can call it. Is not going to be locked up in place. Dashes forward. 3-man knockup. Cinkrof sends them flying. xMatty is exhausted and Spray and Pray's not doing a huge hell of a lot. Agresivoo not going to find anything with the Ornn. So far, both junglers are down. NUCLEARINT will follow immediately. NUCLEARINT next target will be Agresivoo, and Irrelevant stays alive. They peeled from the Baron. They got the kills. And now all of a sudden, BDS are starting to really fall apart.
Yeah, xMatty will be able to sneak away out of here. But again, this has been the Misfits special. Like, they like starting up these objectives so they can find fights. They like moving around as a 5-man unit on the map as well, as Limit will just stop the back, but it has been absolutely insane to see Misfits again getting these big advantages for themselves every single fight we come into. And again, I mean, they're all on the Dragon, but I mean, they have great turn potential here. Vetheo as well, a monster in this fight with the Spear Rush. He gets direct access to the backline, which makes it so hard for xMatty and NUCLEARINT to really try and carry these. And look at Neon, right? There's always bodies in front of him, even gets the Spell Shield for Agresivoo's engage. And there's just nothing left in the tank there for BDS.
No, nothing at all. Unfortunately for BDS, again, they are now dancing to Misfits, you know, tune. I wanted to say fiddle, but I don't think that's the right term. Is that an instrument? Yeah, they're dancing to Misfits fiddle. So I don't know where that word came from. As we jump out of the replay, can I address everybody's attention to the scoreboards? And Dagda, can you draw a line under one of those bounties? As you can see, we have added bounties to the scoreboard, but right now it's also showing the bounty gold plus the gold that you'll get for the kill. So in fact, Vetheo has a bounty of 700. If he gets killed, you'll get that 300 for the kill as well, similar for Neon 150. We are working on an update to make sure that's just the bounty gold, but we've added it. It's something that fans have been asking for several weeks. I'm really glad to see it there. xMatty's got 350 of his own. Dragon number 3 secured by Misfits and Dagda. I mean, it's starting to feel to me like this game is becoming nearly unwinnable. I mean, there's always a Twitch, but the thing is, with Braum, with Skarner, with Sejuani, look at all of these initiation tools as well as a Sivir running up behind. There's so much to deal with.
Misfits.
There is the Impale, managing to catch up xMatty. He flashes away to his life. They turn the fight. Is this the caster curse of doom? NUCLEARINT gets himself a kill into Mersa, and now all of a sudden the target is irrelevant. Zanzarah is running, dancing back and forth.
Save the round.
Target. How the hell did Vetheo pick that up? He's got 1-for-1. With xMatty down, there's not enough damage to follow, and Misfits get away by the skin of their teeth.
How is that a 1-for-1? Agresivoo wants to try and find more. Vetheo is on the wrong side of town, but this is probably a fight he actually wants to take.
Fight! Vtheo's going to have backup from Neon in just a moment. All Perception thrown out. Knock up into the air from Agresivoo. There's the abscond of Dagda as well. Chain Lash comes down. Agresivoo flashes for his life. He stuck around. It cost him his flash. And BDS literally slapped me in the face saying, we can still win fights.
I thought Agresivoo was trying to bait there, see if the charm could be there for NUCLEARINT. You take a couple of terror shots here as Vetheo, and maybe that could be the difference maker, but not going to be the case. But that was a fight that was very close to going wrong for Misfits. Like, when we eventually get into the replay, I want you to watch both side lanes, because a lot of the people that were part of that fight for Misfits weren't there at the start, and that's why that big damage from xMatty was nearly able to turn it around.
I really feel like GibsOvers want to look for a replay, but there's another setup here. Misfits, get them a tent, get them some s'mores, because right now they are just camping in BDS's jungle. They've started off Baron once more. Dagda, what do you make of this? Spray and Pray's available for xMatty. He's making his way forwards.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a great spot here. This choke is going to do so much work for Neon Sivir, the AoE damage.
Beyond the heart, the prison comes out! Everybody's flying for BDS, and Misfits are running BDS through the meat grinder. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 to follow. That was a near flawless ace.
This is where Sivir thrives at the moment with her rework. The AoE damage from her spells, from the bouncing blades, from everything is perfect in those chokes, and unfortunately BDS were part of a demonstration they didn't want to be there.
Man, oh, that was just... Honestly, that's just brutal, but well played Misfits. They knew the read, they pulled BDS towards him, and they peeled for the fight.
Yeah, and you'll see the instant turn, right? Neon is getting everyone sped up to get in here. Great block coming through to stop any sort of damage. Vetheo across the team, and Neon untouched in the backline the entire time. Look at all the bouncing blades that are ricocheting across. It finishes off the Ahri, who thought she's safe. Like, everyone is getting rinsed in this choke point.
This is Misfits looking at securing their 10th win in 12 games. This is Misfits are looking at their 5th consecutive victory in a row. And if Misfits close this out, as it is feeling like they will, if they take down G2 or Fnatic tomorrow or Sunday, they guarantee themselves a shot at playoffs. I mean, take a look at this win-loss graph over the last few weeks. Since week 3, and obviously week 6 and 7, is when the man on your screen, Zanzarah, has made it in.
Yeah, and it's made such a difference. I mean, the fact that beating Australis, Mad Lions, Rogue, SK all in the last couple of weeks is absolutely insane. And even just as you can see before that, like G2, Fnatic as well. Like, this is a team that really wants to get to that world stage and guarantee themselves playoffs.
First time since 2017. And the hunt thrown out, tower is secured. That's the 5th of the game. Red Bull Baron power play is now starting to accelerate ahead. Plus 3,000 gold already. Zanzarah, where does the Impale go? He's holding on to it while that's going on. Vetheo, a 3-level advantage, just by the way. Level 17 to level 14. I want to look at 2 things just as this siege will finish. I want to look at total golden experience. Before that, though, this is a near flawless siege to take down the tower, to take down the inhibs. Limit once again taken out. Misfits are just going fishing and catching catfish after catfish after catfish.
Yeah, it turns out when you have to start QSS, you're not exactly going to be the tankiest of catfish. And there he goes,
the
Zanzarah!
catch, NUCLEARINT! Zanzarah finds the Impale. It is immediately countered as Neon is taken down with the gigantic gold lead. Misfits slap BDS with their wallets. They ace them once again. The Baron empowered minions pushing into the base, into the Nexus, and Mersa's doing a dance, having a good time, getting down tonight. Misfits close the game out and are so tantalizingly close to playoffs and worlds.
Misfits are looking at that playoffs with hungry eyes, because after that performance, they look spectacular, hitting the mid-game in their stride, finding these wins at every single neutral objective, and just wiping the floor with them.
I mean, Misfits are now staring down the barrel of G2 and Fnatic and saying, can't touch this. They are looking 1 win, 99.7. I'm actually getting a shaken head from people on stage, by the way. Super disappointed.
There's more than one.
Exceptional game. I think somewhat expected from a top-of-the-table clash against the 10th place team in the league. Sparrow thought for BDS that was a difficult game to play. And despite the early first kill, Misfits super clear game plan, super clear control, and they managed to run away.
Yeah, and that's the thing here. Like, I could understand what BDS were going for, right? It's like, hey, we want to go for late game scaling. If we get to the post 30-minute mark, we're going to be in a fantastic spot. Twitch is going to be unstoppable. Ornn is going to be helping them out drastically. It's going to look great, but Misfits never gave them that opportunity. Getting those early dragons that we talked about, that second Rift Herald fight as well, going their way. Misfits, I mean, take a bow is right.
Zanzarah! I don't know if Zanzarah can hear me, but there's a fan in the crowd that said pick Skarner. I sincerely hope he signs that poster a little bit later. I'll have to pass along a message to him. I mean, great performance. I think, again, one of the things I do want to highlight, there was that crazy scenario where we can have 8 teams tied, when lost 5 of them locked in a 3-way tiebreaker games. There's also, this is one of 3 scenarios where we can have 5 teams from playoffs locked already by today. So we're one step closer when you see if Vitality and Rogue can pick up those next 2, because then it's fighting just for 1 spot for the rest of Super League.
Yeah, which, I mean, I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of leaning on the side of having a little bit of madness. I want to see how many tiebreakers. I mean, EU is tiebreakers is what I was told, so I'm not going to come all the way here for your last week and not get it.
I sincerely hope we get those tiebreakers. Your nominees for Key Up Player of the Game at ADC on Twitter, Zanzarah, Vetheo, Mersa. It's kind of difficult because this is one of those games where the whole team ran away with it. The whole team were in control. But I think from the draft, we talked a little bit about it, some of the challenges, and I think in particular, Misfits' playstyle, they know their identity, they know what they're doing, and they execute it well.
And that's the thing, especially because the way they play the game is so focused on these 5v5s, it's very hard to kind of separate someone out. But I mean, Vetheo, deathless in that game. You had Neon, who was running away with a ton of damage. Like, even the great engages that were coming across from Zanzarah, like, well, I don't know how you pick that one.
Well, I don't know either, but we are going to hear from the taxman himself as Laure standing by on stage.
Thank you, guys. Beautiful hair, I have to say. And the taxman, thank you so much for joining me. I have to ask, you saw the pick, the sign in the audience. Did it help you picking this champion today, or was it like a plan you had in advance?
I mean, of course. As soon as I saw sign.
Thank you. Honestly,
thank you, guys.
I love the vibe, and I love the coaching input from the audience today. But why were you feeling the Skarner game?
I mean, basically because 4 other junglers was banned, so I kind of have to pick it something. Yeah, I mean, initially plan was to pick something else, but everything was banned, and they banned Trundle and Poppy in the same time. So yeah, I have to go deep into my champion pool a bit. Yeah, so, but yeah, actually, it was actually fine Skarner game. It was not that easy because like Ahri and Ornn usually is like pretty good versus it. But props to my teammates, they make this game kind of easy for me.
It is a teamwork in the end, but okay, I want to ask, I don't want to call you an OTP because you play so many champions, but when there's not so many jungles open left, you're going to default to Skarner, even though it's not a good game. Do you think you're the only player who can do that? You're just that good with the champion?
I mean, I don't think I'm that good on Skarner, personally. I think, I mean, especially in LCK, there's like a lot of players who are like blind picking Skarner right now. So I think he's just good in the meta overall, and you don't really care that much right now of like having a lot of AP damage in a team comp. Yeah, but yeah, it's a comfort. Let's put it. I'm one trick, not one trick. I'm triple pick pony.
Triple Let's call it that way. Yeah. Oh, another topic. When we heard, I heard you talking backstage with the players and the amount of jokes and everything you tell your teammates to calm them down before the game. Can you give me some specifics on that? What kind of jokes do you tell them? Like, what is the way for you to make them calm down and show up on stage and be just, okay, relax, we got this?
I mean, usually just I don't really tell jokes. I'm not sure like who said it, but I just come to people like, guys, it's good. We can make secure playoffs today. So just like don't feel pressure. Just like for playoff spot match, you know, like no pressure at all. Our drafts are ready. Our scrims are going really great, and yeah, everything is ready. And they're like, okay, yeah, chill zone, chill, yeah.
Chill zone, you got there. All right, 1 game left to reach the playoffs. Maybe tomorrow against G2. What makes you a better team?
What does make a better team than G2?
What makes you guys a better team than G2? Why? Give me arguments to that.
I mean, I don't know. I think Well, it's we're gonna see tomorrow. Let's put it like this.
All right, let's call it a surprise. Zanzarah, thank you so much, as always, for a fun interview. And stay tuned, we're gonna be back in just a few minutes for the second game of the day, SK versus Vitality. Don't you go anywhere.
Even the biggest champ needs a break.